We got a few very important scenarios to be paying attention to here as Bitcoin and the crypto markets are coming to a weekly candle close. Bitcoin has actually touched or broke through its all-time highs yesterday, last night, Saturday, Pacific Standard Time. However, it doesn't look like it's a very strong breakout. Very important to be paying attention to what Bitcoin is going to be doing right now because it is still the driver of this crypto market. If it has more room to pump, so will a lot of these altcoins. However, if it starts dumping from here, which there is still a chance, then that is not going to be good for your altcoins. Okay, that could ruin a lot of these altcoin setups. It is still within a bearish pattern here that you should be paying attention to. We are not out of the woods yet. Okay, I'm going to get into that in just a second. We're also going to be taking a look into a few pieces of economics and crypto news here before getting into a few altcoin setups, which will include PEAQ Network, Arweave, as well as OpenLedger. See what's happening within some of these altcoin markets. What are their trading setups and price targets? Okay, let's go ahead and go to some pieces of news here first. First of all, this is by ZY Crypto. Bitcoin sets new historic highs above 125K as spot Bitcoin ETFs clinch $3.24 billion in inflows. So yeah, as I saw yesterday, okay, Bitcoin did break through above 124.5K, which was about the previous all-time highs, but it was not a strong breakout. Okay, we're still within a rising wedge pattern. Okay, that I'm gonna keep talking about because this is still in danger zone. Bitcoin and crypto is still in danger zone, getting very close to a resolution here, to an actual breakout or breakdown. And why I'm saying that is because the channel here is getting tighter. And as it gets tighter, price action has no more room to run. Okay. So that is basically what I see. A move is coming. Okay. Now the bears are going to be defending this pattern here, and very understandably so, because if I was a short seller, I would look to be shorting this as well if I think that this is a bear market, the start of a bear market. However, I don't, right? And there's a few main reasons why I do think that this is not the bear market, the start of a bear market. Okay, one of which is because the Federal Reserve has just started its Fed rate cut cycle back in September. And it looks like there's a few more to come, according to the CME Watch tool, which has been very accurate. Let's take a look here. Okay, for October meeting, we have a 96% chance of a rate cut. December, almost 100%. Okay, so but note that these probabilities can change, right? But that is one of the main reasons why I do think that this bull cycle is still in its early stages. Okay. Another argument is because of the monthly RSI. We're still nowhere near 2021 and 2017 monthly RSI levels. And it looks like we could be getting a higher RSI reading here for this month. Still too early to tell, but I mean, we're still nowhere near 2021, 2017 previous bull cycle RSI readings, right? Does it have to play out exactly the same way? No, but I don't think there's anything telling me otherwise right now. Let's take a look into the next piece of news here, which is by Cointelegraph. Bitcoin rallies to 125K, fueled by U.S. government shutdown, macro factors, analysts. I don't really pay too much attention to the shutdown because that happens like pretty frequently. It has happened a couple of times here in the U.S. I'm not sure if it actually shut down, but they talk about it and they threaten it, right? That is not something I really see as a main factor. I think that's more of a sideshow. Macro factors, then it's gonna be the Federal Reserve rate cut. I'm not sure if this analyst talks about it, right? But I mean, that is my main argument. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the next piece here. It's also by Cointelegraph. Aging boomers and global wealth seen boosting crypto until 2100. Okay, 2100, the year. Okay. I think what this analyst is talking about is that, let's see here, about one third or 34% of global cryptocurrency holders were aged between 24 to 35. Okay, as of December 2024. So, a big portion. That's a big portion from 24 to 35. I would have expected more because I would have expected younger people. I'm in my mid 30s, late 30s now, right? And I just don't see anyone younger than I am holding, much of gold, right? It's gonna be digital assets. I'm not sure about the boomers. Um, I mean, yeah, I'm just not sure about the boomers. I mean, it could be because of quite a few of these apps like Walmart, OnePay, as I talked about in I think yesterday's or the previous day's news, that they're gonna roll out to OnePay and make it easier for customers on OnePay to purchase Bitcoin. I'm not sure if that's gonna come true, but if that is, I think that would get a lot of boomers and probably more senior people into the markets more easily. Okay, and that's going to be good for Bitcoin if that comes true. Next piece here is by You Today. Good chance Bitcoin tops several weeks from now, analyst claims. Okay, I think there's a good chance. I mean, but tops. I still think we're kind of early in this bull cycle. Let's go ahead and read some of this, okay? Glassnode co-founder Jan Happel and Jan Alman have predicted that the price of Bitcoin could reach the peak of the current cycle within just 4 or 5 weeks. Okay, so, I mean, where do they think the cycle top is? I think that's more important, right? Let's go down here to this piece here. Various pundits, such as Tom Lee, believe that cryptocurrency could surpass 200K this year. I still think that's in the cards. I don't think that's impossible. However, this is extremely unlikely. I would not say it's extremely unlikely. I've seen Bitcoin do some pretty crazy stuff in a very short period of time. Uh, Unlikely to happen within a relatively short span of time that was mentioned by the Glassnode analyst. If you guys remember, if you guys have been around since 2020, 2021, the last bull cycle, do you guys remember the breakout last time? Let's see if I can revisit the chart last time. Let me see if I can find where that is on the chart, because I think Bitcoin did a 50% overnight. Okay, let me see if I can find that day there. It's gonna be somewhere in December 2020. Excuse me. Let's see here. December 2020. Somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here. That was daily candle. December 16th. Went from about 19,000 to, well, I guess not. But if you actually take a bigger range here, December 16th to about January 8th, it doubled, okay? Basically, December 16th to January 8th of 2021, it basically more than doubled, went from 20,000 to 42,000. Okay? I mean, yeah, you could argue that the market cap was a lot smaller then, but it doubled in, what, 3 weeks? So, and the market cap has about tripled since. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that it could have a 50% move in here within a month. Less than double in 3 weeks. All right, so that is what I think. I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here. So my opinions on this market is bullish. But of course, like the entirety of this video, these are just my opinions and not financial advice. You gotta form your own opinions and strategies. Right. Let's go ahead and go to altcoins. Altcoin setups. I want to talk to you guys about Ethereum, just real quick. Okay. Ethereum has been pent up within this falling wedge pattern. Okay, it's tried to break out last night. As you guys can see, a small wick outside of an established upper trend line there. Falling wedges usually break to the upside. Okay, usually. We're all talking probabilities here. Okay. Also have to mind the downside risk. Let's take a look into Total 3. Total 3 here, still on the edge of a possible breakout here. However, a few scenarios to be paying attention to. Okay, weekly time frame, right? If we actually close the week like this, there's going to be bearish divergence again, okay? And that usually means that there's going to be a pullback. Let's take a look into the Bitcoin charts. Bitcoin chart, also very important to be paying attention to because it is still the driver of this market. A couple of scenarios to be paying attention to here, because if Bitcoin actually ends up like this, if it closes something like this, which we have a close coming in about 7 hours, that's going to be, you're going to have a bearish divergence scenario on your hands, and that's going to have a higher probability of a pullback. Bears are defending this pattern, okay, and I'm very much understandably why, because this is a bearish pattern that has a higher chance of breaking to the downside. This is on the weekly time frame. This is a rising wedge pattern with the breakdown target. If it breaks down by here, for example, the breakdown target would be almost 80K. That is going to be catastrophic for the crypto markets as a whole, right? However, if the bulls actually manage to pull this off and break out of this bearish pattern, which it has a smaller chance of doing, then you're going to see very potentially a short squeeze here that is going to take Bitcoin quite a bit higher, basically where the short sellers are going to have to cover their position by buying the positions back. Let's go ahead and go to altcoins now. So something to be very much paying attention to here for Bitcoin. However, if Bitcoin actually closes below 118K, then that would give you a lower high on the price action charts, and then we don't have to worry about RSI on this weekly time frame yet. Something to be paying attention to, and of course the 3-day and daily time frame, you guys can figure it out on your own based on what I'm saying here. Let's go ahead and go to Arweave. See what's happening with Arweave. This is the weekly time frame. Falling wedge pattern. Price target still valid. Breakout still valid. Weekly time frame. Price target would be about $39 for Arweave. Broken out quite a few weeks ago. Hasn't done too much. Been just consolidating within this very tight range. I talked about this smaller falling wedge pattern here. Looks like it was a fake out because I see the weekly candle closing back in to the falling wedge here. Now I'm going to put the price target further down the line along the upward trend line there. And the price target for the smaller falling wedge pattern would be about $10.50 price targets. Okay? And you're going to have the weekly 50 SMA that's coming up as resistance on this time frame. Something to be paying attention to. Falling wedges have a higher chance of breaking to the upside. Of course, have to mind the lower chance that it breaks down as well. You're also going to have the weekly 21 SMA that's going to be immediate resistance at about $6.80 about the blue line. Let's go ahead and go to PEAQ Network. See what's happening with this market here. Not much, to be honest, but something to be paying attention to here is that it has broken out of this falling wedge pattern. As you guys will see, if you guys just start charting your charts here, it's going to be very important, right, in getting yourself an advantage, getting yourself an edge, because these patterns would tell you that it has more of a chance going in one direction than the other, okay? And when you start charting these charts, you're going to gain a major advantage. That's why when you guys watch these videos, it's a lot more important to learn at least the basics of technical analysis. I think that's going to get you guys a lot farther in this game if that's what you guys want to do. Rather than just, making a quick buck off just getting a price target, right? I want you guys to learn technical analysis. I think that's gonna carry you guys a lot further. I've been trading this for over 5+ years, purely. I'm not gonna say purely, but I would say 95% on technical analysis. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go to peak here. Okay, broke out a couple of weeks ago. Price target is gonna be about 27 cents, and since the breakout, it has held. It has held this breakout here because you still see weekly candle closes above this upper trend line. So that tells you that the breakout is still valid. Let's take a look into a smaller time frame. Daily time frame. Possible cup and handle scenario here. Okay, if you actually see another test back up to this resistance here at about 14 cents, you're gonna have a cup and handle pattern, which is a bullish pattern that usually breaks the upside as well. Let's go ahead and go to OpenLedger, see what's happening with Open. Okay, now this is a relatively new coin, smaller market cap, meaning that in better times, it's going to have higher upside, but in bad times or boring times, it's likely to have a lot more downside. Okay, that is the risk of trading smaller altcoins, just so you guys know if you guys are new to this market. I know there's a lot of new people in this market watching this video because I'm getting more views than usual than the boring times. And another thing to be paying attention to here, I've been talking about this, is Google Trends. Okay, this is Google Trends. People searching for Bitcoin. Look at the index volume for the past couple of weeks. It's been rising. That also confirms that there's more retail interest. All right, so what's happening with OpenLedger? Falling wedge pattern. This is on the daily time frame. This is a newer altcoin. Okay, price target. It looks like it's already broken out, but hasn't done too much. Price target here is going to be about $1.30 price targets. Now, price targets are estimates only. Okay, there could be more, there could be less. A lot of it is going to depend on what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts dumping from here, a lot of these altcoin setups, targets, they're not going to matter very much. Now, daily 21 SMA is going to be your immediate resistance, which is the blue line here. Moving averages above the price action, you should be paying attention to because they're going to be resistance. Moving average below the price action is going to be your support. Now, daily 21 SMA is about 70 cents right now. That's going to be your immediate resistance. Let's see if it breaks out of that, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look into even a smaller time frame, 4-hour time frame. What is OpenLedger looking like it's going to do? Very important for Open to break out of this upper trend line. Otherwise, this could form some type of a rising wedge like this, okay? Which is a bearish pattern that has a higher chance of breaking to the downside. Still a hypothetical scenario, not developed, but very important for if you're a bull, you want to see Open break out of this upper trend line to avoid a rising wedge pattern, because that usually means that there's going to be a breakdown. So this basically wraps up for this video. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of Arweave, PEAQ Network, OpenLedger, or any other coins in this market by dropping a like, comment, subscribe. I'll pick a request to you for you guys on a daily basis. I'll see you on the next one.